What's up, guys? It's been a long day. I just saw most of the stream that came from 704. The first half was mostly 704. They had a couple of drivers uh, come and play the game and talk about it, but the second half was Jeff Fabiano, and I got a lot of information out of it, and I didn't think I'd be ready to do a prediction video, but here it is. I think I've seen enough. I've seen everything I need to see, unless there's some major surprise that we don't know about, or some major problem we don't know about. This game is pretty much showing what it is, and in my opinion, what it is looks pretty damn good. So I'm gonna go through the details of the stream. I'm gonna talk about uh, my prediction for this game. Uh, Without further ado, let's just get to it. Right off the bat, there was a big surprise today that nobody saw coming. I didn't see it coming. There is an online spectator mode. So who would have thought that was in the game? That's a big deal for online racing. You don't have to sit around in a lobby staring at the lap counter. You can go in and watch a race. You have multiple camera angles as well. You could watch the race from any player, from their point of view or whatever. So that's a big fucking deal. How did they get that in there? That sounds like something that's complicated, at least to me. Uh, that was a big surprise. So that's another really good uh, feature that they've added. The replay has a highlight reel for offline. Um, so you can watch the replay like we've been watching it in its entirety. You can have a stripped down version, and then there's a highlight reel version, and it just shows you the highlights of the race. Like somehow the game knows where interesting things happen throughout the race, and it just chops it up into a highlight reel. That sounds pretty fucking badass. Um, I noticed during the gameplay, when you clip the grass and the dirt, uh, it pops up, up the and it in front of the car. Now we knew that already, but we actually got to see a lot of it. It happens a lot. Once you drive into the grass, the nose digs into the ground and it kicks up dirt, which is cool. Just another cool little detail that sticks out. Now there was a part in Bristol where the AI, I don't remember who it was. It was one of the NASCAR drivers that was playing, and he was at Bristol. And what I noticed, the AI spread out pretty well, pretty quickly. Just after a lap or two, the spotter sounds pretty good for the most part. My one complaint, which I'll get to more of later, is that the first half of the stream, it was really laggy, uh, choppy, bad quality, and there was too much talking between uh, whoever it was that was hosting the thing, and whether it was the drivers or Sean Wilson, whatever. There was almost too much talking when I really wanted to hear the game, and it was almost drowned. The game itself was drowned out by all the talk. Now I know they wanted to answer people's questions and talk about stuff, and it's important, but you got to find the right balance. And there are moments where you should just like let the game speak for itself. So that's really a minor complaint, but it kind of did drown out in the beginning. I kept wanting to hear the game. I want to hear the sound. But I did notice that the spotter's a little busier, and at least from what we saw today, it seems much more accurate. So that's another good thing. The overall sense of speed in the game, it seems better. It seems more realistic. It just something that's noticeably better. Now, That also in the ownership mode and or the career mode is what in the ownership part of your business dealings, there's actual merchandise sales. I didn't realize that was part of the game. There wasn't any mention of it before that I knew of, but that's cool. That's another throwback to the old days. And I guess your fans, as you gain fans and stuff, your merchandise sales go up and stuff like that. And it's cool. I mean, I love that stuff. Every little detail counts. Also, you have your agent and he gets in contact with you. I wasn't really sure there was an agent in the game, but whereas last year you had that guy talking to you or from Heat Evolution, it's kind of the same, but he's more involved and at one point he actually asks you if you want uh, to get into a new contract in the future, and you had a choice to look at certain sponsors or certain teams that you might want to inquire about. So it's cool. These are options I was not aware of that would be part of your career mode. Just a couple of little things I picked up that I wasn't aware of. The menu layout throughout the game much better. It just looks more polished. There's a lot more going on. I like the way the menu is structured. It's pretty well thought out. Um, Even before the racing or during practice or qualifying, you have a choice. You got your setup for qualifying one and your race setup in the way it used to be, where you kind of had to bounce back and forth in and out of certain menus. This time, both tabs are right there, so you can pick each one, either setup and just go with it. So it's much better. It's done better, and the presentation overall, it is a big step forward. Um, the story thing in the beginning, even Fabiano talked about it later on. He felt it almost went by too quickly. I couldn't agree more. That's kind of what I thought. It's so quick that you barely have enough time to read what's there, which is another thing I don't like about the text. I'm hoping that this is just a stepping stone to better presentation and more stuff added, and have maybe have audio commentary, have more of a television presentation type of setup. But it's better, and it's there's a lot of cool stuff. Before each race at each track has a quick little presentation, where last year, you know at least only in the Cup Series, I think, you got a video of the track, and it was like a real video, and I didn't like it. It just came across as real lazy and just tacked on. But this time there's real animation. They show you a couple of shots of the track. You see people walking around. It is really nice. I like it. They can certainly go deeper with it, but it's really a good step forward. Um, the graphics, I'm surprised. The game, sitting and watching all of this footage, I realized the game really does look better. You know, I don't understand some people. They're still gonna complain. I don't understand what people are expecting. Um, this is not a simulator. This isn't. I mean, it looked the game. I'm really happy with the way the game looks myself. Um, the sky's really beautiful, and it's such an upgrade over last year. Um, the trees, they look more three-dimensional. They look more alive, especially at these dirt tracks, which, by the way, look fantastic. The sun beaming down on the track, there are certain parts, depending on the reflection, the sun actually glares off the track. The dirt physics are much better than I thought they would be. I was kind of worried about it. You can get that car sideways. Dirt's kicking up everywhere. It looks like a lot of fun. I was not expecting to be this excited about the dirt. and each track looks unique. They did an amazing job. It just looks really good. Visually, the game looks good. I don't understand what people are expecting. I know people complain no matter what, but you cannot tell me this is not a huge upgrade. You know, uh, it just looks better. It's more polished all across the board. Another thing I noticed is that the pop in and the uh, the aliasing, these jagged edges that have been a real eyesore, have been almost completely eliminated in what I saw today. Now, I will say one thing, and it does concern me. It turns out, and Fabiano mentions this later on, that they are playing on a PC, and on the PC version, you have the ability to run 4K, 60 frames per second. So I don't know if they had everything dialed up all the way, but it would certainly explain why the game ran so smooth. Okay, it really, I guess it was because it was running at 60 frames. It looked really smooth, but there was almost no pop in because I was really looking out for that. Um, and the aliasing was almost completely gone. But I have to admit, my enthusiasm took a slight notch. It went down a notch when he said, "Okay, we are playing on a PC." So there's a big question into how much of a downgrade when you play it on a console is the game going to look? Because it's not going to, there is going to be a downgrade. How much is the question? And that's the only thing that concerns me. But the game looked really good. Um, there's a lot more detail. I don't understand what people are expecting in terms of graphics. This is pretty damn good. Um, so I'm thrilled with the graphics. The damage model that I've seen a couple of wrecks. Fabiano at one point hit the wall pretty hard. The whole nose was caved in. Also, when he bounced off the wall, it wasn't like that ping pong crap that we've been used to. He hit the wall pretty hard, and the car came around. It looked natural. It looked realistic. Also, the physics look. They do look better. They look. It looks like it's been improved. And when he made contact with other cars, it looked more realistic. You didn't completely go flying off the track. So it does seem everything seems improved. The road course is another thing. The bottleneck that happens at all the road courses, it looks way better now. You don't get this log jam and like brake checking. It's so much better. At least with Fabiano at Watkins Glen, he had the difficulty tuned up. The AI it looks hard. I mean, we're only judging it based on him playing, but he dialed it up all the way, and he's not like some fucking novice. He plays these games. He's admittedly a wheel guy like myself, but still, it does look hard, and he really was trying, and I'm thrilled. I mean, the only thing about the AI that really I was really looking out for it, but we didn't really get any glimpse of it, is the pit strategy. Is it fixed? Is it better? You're not going to know that till you actually run a long race and you put the stages in there and see how that plays out. So I have no clue about the AI pit strategy, and that is a big deal. So that's the one big question mark that I walk away from. But everything else looks great. Uh, I didn't think I could be more excited about this game, and today I was just giddy with excitement. Um, this game is looking good. I don't. I have to. I just don't get it. If people that still think this game isn't, I don't know. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm thrilled with it. It looks like a ton of fun, and the AI does look improved. It was very stable, and it does look like it's going to give you all the challenge you could want. Um, I don't know what else. Did I miss anything? Oh my God, the sound. Now, the Cup cars, as I've said before, there's a noticeable improvement. Okay, but there is room for more improvement. So it's not perfect, but they are well on their way, and they even talked about it, and they said that this is going to continue to evolve, which is exactly what I want to hear. But the sound is so much better than it's ever been. I've never liked any sound in any NASCAR game, and finally they got something that's I would say better than average. Okay, it's not fantastic, but it's pretty good. And when the engine's at full song, it sounds pretty good. Okay, the lower RPMs need a little work, but I mean it's pretty good. I can't really complain at this time. Now the one thing that did surprise me again in a very positive way is the sound of the dirt cars. Holy shit, those things sound like no joke. The dirt cars actually sound better than the cup cars. I mean, they sound pretty fucking badass. Uh, and the dirt, the driving, the gameplay, it looked like fun. I can't wait to try it. I haven't really never been a dirt guy before, but this shit looks like fun. The series looks fun. The physics look fun, but the sound, I loved it, and that made me feel more immersed in the experience. And I could imagine in a nice surround system, and you're playing this fucking game. It's gonna be fun. It looks like fun, man, and I don't know. It's like it's hard to really pinpoint anything negative. I'm sure that there are things that are going to pop up when you play the game that are going to need work, stuff like that. But man, there's a lot of stuff here I was not expecting. Also, the AI at these road courses has always been terrible, and it looked pretty good. I mean, we got a small dose of it, but Fabiano had it at a high difficulty, and he finished either last or 39th. I don't know, but and he's pretty good. He seemed like he was pretty good at it. Man, he would pass a guy, and in the next corner, the guy would fight back and pass him again. And we're not talking about in the top 10. We're talking about all the way at the back. So I'm excited about the competition. This thing is not going to be easy. I mean, I'm convinced from what I see. So I'm just interested to know what you guys think. Now, the negatives, I'm going to go into the negatives real quick that I did write down. And but here's another, even the negatives turn out to be a positive because the negatives are almost completely all tied to the marketing, which is one, there was no wheel setup, which they do this every fucking year. They bring these guys in there and they don't have a wheel setup. You would think by now they'd have a nice wheel setup, maybe on a chassis where somebody could actually sit in there and be more immersed. And these guys are playing on hand controllers. Some of these guys are used to it, but some of these guys aren't. And it's just, I don't know, man. Just as an option, you would think they would have addressed that by now, but that doesn't really affect the game. That's just pretty much the marketing. The AI difficulty was set too easy. This was before Fabiano uh, did his part of it. But the first half of the streaming, there was a lot of talking. There was, you know, and the lag was pretty bad. So, and then all of these guys were playing on an easier difficulty, plowing through the field. So I didn't really enjoy the first half as much in terms of gameplay. Um, yeah, there was too much talking. You couldn't really hear the engine or the spotter or anything else. So those were my complaints, really. But the complaints were really relegated to the streaming and the marketing. This is, 704 has to do a better job. Plus, the lag was horrendous. Now, Fabiano did mention later on that for some reason that the internet was slower than normal in that building for some reason. Maybe they had a drop in service, or for some reason they were having difficulties. But when you're setting up these streaming these streams, you got to do a better job. You got to set everything up, make sure everything is right on point, so that when people show up to play and you're on, when you say 1 o'clock, you're on at 1 o'clock and everything is running buttery smooth. Things happen, so it is what it is. At the end of the day, the positives far outweigh the negatives. I am really excited about this game. I can't, I'll never understand and people that are really down on this. Another thing that, yeah, I think they went through the custom car customization real quick. There were a couple of points where I had to walk away from the stream. I was really doing a lot of things at once, but I didn't notice anything big. I don't know if there was a new templates or anything. If anybody out there saw that and knows about it, let me know. So I'm just gonna get right to it. I don't see what else they could throw at us that's going to be new. I think we've seen everything this game has to offer for the most part. They shocked me today with this online spectator mode. I'm not an, and you guys know I'm an offline guy, but that's interesting. And you can go and spectate. You could check out a lobby before you just jump on in. You could see if it's a bunch of assholes or if it's a bunch of clean racing. And just I could imagine what people might be able to do with editing and maybe call a race. Somebody did mention later on something about uh, being a spotter. Now I don't know if I guess if you have the chat ability and you could spectate, maybe you'll be able to spot for somebody. I don't know. I think we're jumping too far ahead, but it just leaves interesting possibilities for the future. So I gotta say, I got a feeling like we're looking at something that has the potential to be one of two things. This is either going to be the second or third best NASCAR game we've ever had, right? Because if you're looking at the best, what's the best? NASCAR Thunder 2004, in my opinion, okay? And some people consider Dirt to Daytona. Uh, NASCAR 2003, the season, the PC game is really a simulator. I don't include that in these arguments because I don't think I think it's apples and oranges. This is not a simulator. This is a simcade type of thing, right? So it's got a touch of sim, but it's arcade as well and stuff, and it's a blend of the two things. So I only really compare it to other console NASCAR games. So in terms of console NASCAR games, right? Up to this point, it's been 2004 Thunder, and you could probably throw in Dirt to Daytona, right? So the comparisons are going to be with those games, and when I look at what I've seen so far, Thunder 2004 looks like it still has the edge in presentation. The pre-race, post-race commentary, the going down through the field, uh, Star Spangled Banner. They did a lot of really cool stuff. Even after the race was over, you would hear some audio commentary. This game doesn't have that, and it doesn't have even audio commentary at any point. You're reading text. However, it's a step up. So in terms of presentation, 2004 still has a big edge, right? And then there's the fact with the stats, right? This game has minimal stats. It's going to be the same as last year, which is this just basic thrown in career total in each series type deal, top 5, 10 wins, but no real in-depth stats that break things down in career totals year by year. Um, we had that in 2004. In fact, we've had that in just about every NASCAR game up until 2009. And then with the new generation of games, when Technics took over, stats went out the window. So presentation and stats 2004 still has the edge over what this game seems to be. But now you look at everything else. One, you got online multiplayer. So this is a clear win for for this game, right? Because you got the online. You can race 40 cars online. Uh, you got now you got a spectator mode. You can run AI. I don't know. I hope that the AI was also fixed for online. If they did, that's another plus, right? But even if they didn't, it's not going to weigh in too heavily because the clear edge is still online multiplayer is going to go to this. Now, career mode. This is really where the comparisons are going to start coming face to face. Is there any denial that this game looks and sounds better than 2004? As much as we loved that game and I loved it and it's still a great game, it's a 15-year-old title. There's no comparison. This game looks way better, sounds way better with the upgrade in sound. So the edge here is going to go to 704 with the online multiplayer, the graphics, the sound, right? Which still need work. I get it. But it's way better than 2004 because now we're making direct comparisons. This is where it comes down to AI and the depth of the career mode. The AI in this game, while you can make the argument, is still a question mark because until you play it and spend time with it, we don't really know how competitive it is. From the signs that we see, it looks really good. And when you go back to 2004, the AI was pretty competitive. It was a good, solid uh, implementation. But that was 15 years ago, and because I'm making a prediction, and I might be wrong when the game comes out, but I'm gonna give the edge to 704. You know, the uh, the road course looks better. The bottlenecking issue seems to be much better. It looks like it's gonna be super competitive. So I got to give the slight edge to 704. Now the other question mark is the pit strategy, and we haven't seen much here. It could be that this game still has a disastrous pit strategy, but they've been pretty good with telling us things so far and it turning out to be pretty accurate. So they said they worked on it and that it should work better. So that I'm not even I don't think I need to address it in either way. So now we go to the depth of the career mode and the owner. Now it's really the ownership versus ownership mode. And we know how well balanced and how great the ownership mode was in 2004. This game we don't really know yet, but Fabiano did go through some of the stuff. Um, we found out that you can train your employees, and I don't think we could do that in 2004. So even if you hire employees that their skill level's not that high, you can invest in training them, and their skill levels will rise. That's not something I knew until today. That's a pretty big deal. That shows me that they actually thought of other things. You know, maybe we don't know everything that's in this career mode, but just learning that today, that's a big deal. So there's a question mark. Who would come out on top? And we don't know how well balanced the money is yet until we play this game. So the question is the AI pitch strategy right now and the depth of the ownership mode. And if they really do a great job with it with this game, then in my opinion, this game is going to take over. Is going to knock 2004 off that mantle. I was I really wasn't feeling that way yesterday, right? I was thinking it would come close, I was thinking it would be like Rocky 1, where Rocky really put up a great fight, but he still lost at the end, but he made it a close fight, and I was feeling that way. But now I'm really seeing this, and I think they have a big chance to knock off 2004 Thunder, because as great as that game was, we tend not to remember all the bad stuff. That was not a perfect game. It had its own issues. So, we're not talking about a 10 out of 10 game, a perfect 10. It wasn't that. It's just that compared to every other game, it is the top dog. So, I'm thinking if they nail the ownership, and the money's well balanced, and the AI pitch strategy is actually functions well, then this game is going to be the best NASCAR game we've ever had on a console. Okay, and it would fall probably at a 9 out of 10, which is a fantastic score. This game still has things that they need to work on for the future, right? We know that. But I think this game is capable of that if they nail those things that are a question mark. I'm thinking 9 out of 10. Now, if it turns out that those things are a bit out of balance, and 704 has to either patch it or really do a lot of more work to it, then the game may fall at a 8.5 out of. I think it's going to be 8.5 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. It's going to be either great or really, really good. And I think that's where it's going to fall, because it seems to me the AI difficulty, it looks like it's the real deal. It looks like it is going to be uh, tough. And that, at the end of the day, that's where all the fun's going to be, is the competition. If the game is competitive and really hard to be successful at, it's going to be a fantastic game. I didn't see anything, and I was really looking. Nothing really stood out to me like a huge, oh my God, this doesn't look good. Everything looked really good. So I'm excited, man. I cannot wait to play this game. I think this game, it's either going to be the second best NASCAR game we've ever had, or the best. It's going to be one of those two. And if it falls below that, then it's just going to be because there's something that popped up that I did not foresee. But at this point, that's what it looks like. So I think this is a must play. I'm looking forward to it. I know there's going to be people out there who are going to say, oh, this guy, he's crazy, or what, That's how I feel about it. I'm being honest. So I can't wait to play this game. It's only a couple weeks away. Uh, the game is really shaping up to be good. 704 is not fucking around. And I got to give them a lot of credit. I can't believe all the stuff they put into the game in such a short period of time. And the dirt racing, the tracks, it looks awesome. It sounds good. The fucking engine sounds in the Dirt series, they sounds fucking badass. Um, and even the cup sounds, it's much better. It's pretty good. There is room for improvement, but it doesn't sound like a fucking vacuum cleaner anymore. So they are doing a tremendous job. They deserve a lot of credit. Um, so that's my prediction. Uh, I think this game is gonna be either the second best or the best NASCAR console game we've ever had. In spite of the issues that we already know, the stats are gonna be, a problem, and the presentation isn't going to be as great, but it is vastly improved. So, what do you guys think about my opinion of the game? Did you spot anything that maybe I didn't spot? I look forward to your comments. So, you guys have a good one. If there's more news, more videos, which I'm sure there will be, I'll talk about that as well. So I look forward to your comments. Later, guys.